Hi everyone, it's Mojax in the lab for a quick tip video for you today. Now, if you're a DJ who's never experienced a ground loop at a gig or in the studio or anything like that, then I'm very pleased for you. You're a lucky person. If you have though, you will know, like me, that they are absolute bastards. And there are some ways to deal with it, thankfully, which we can get around. Now, just to explain briefly, if you don't know what a ground loop is, I'm not an electrical engineer, so this is just kind of what I've picked up as a DJ, all right? I'm not a technician, it's not my thing, but I need to know something about these things so I can solve them at my gigs. So a ground loop is basically where you've got a piece of electrical equipment and it's feeding through, say, a sound system and through the mains and so on. And what you get is basically it's got two paths to earth. So you've got earth going through the mains power and you've got an earth going through, let's say, your controller through the audio cables into the sound system, and somewhere else that's earthing somewhere else, and those two earths then clash, and what you get is a ground loop, and that makes like a horrible humming or buzzing noise through a system, and you can turn down your faders and listen and you just hear this horrible, like, real nasty buzzing noise. It's not something you want to deal with at gigs. It's really not nice, and this is more of a problem now with video, because if you do video gigs like I do, you're adding a projector which is probably earthed elsewhere in the room, and that's running you're connecting then your laptop to this projector via a VGA cable. You're earthing it through that, and so you can end up with all manner of horrible buzzes and hums and all sorts of things. So we need ways to resolve that. Now, I've looked and done a bit of research online when I first started suffering from these problems, and what I found was that people talk about ideas of like taking the earth out of your mains cable and stuff like that. Now, don't do that. That's dangerous, right? As I say, I'm not an electrical engineer. If you are and you want to mess with your stuff, then that's up to you. But if you're a normal human being, don't go messing with power supplies or anything like that. Just leave it be, right? You're going to get fried. Simple. End of story. If you start messing with power supplies, you're going to get fried. So just leave it be. So we have tools though that will help us solve these problems. So first thing, and this one's ideal if you're using just a regular kind of laptop audio system, something like you've got a controller running into a mixer, or you've got something like a Native Instruments Audio 2 sound card, so you've just got one feed going into the mixer on phono RCA jacks. Well, this is ideal then. These can be found on Amazon and eBay and the like for as little as like £4. I actually had a look today and they're like £4 now. I think I paid about £8 for this one a few years ago. You can see it's well battered and bruised from being in my bag. Just been carrying it around for a long time. But yeah, it's just basically you've got phono at one end, phono at the other end, big transformer in the middle, and that transformer is basically isolates the ground from there to there. So you hopefully, if there's not a deeper problem in the system somewhere, that will remove that ground loop hum from your setup. So that's really cool, really cheap, worth having. Whatever your setup is, really just get one of those, keep it in your studio or in your bag, and you're good to go. But obviously that's quite limited. You can only do that one phono connection, which is not really ideal. So you can pay about 10 times the price and you can get this thing, which is the ART DTI. This runs about £40 here in the UK. Obviously, it's a much more substantial piece of kit. You know, you've got a nice sturdy metal box. I've again had this one thrown in my bag for like the last year. At the bottom of the bag, just getting battered all the time, and it's just perfectly, as good as the day I bought it. Basically, the good thing with this one is you've got 3 sets of inputs and outputs. So you've got the balanced XLR connection, you've got balanced jacks, and you've got unbalanced RCA phono connections as well. So that's on the in and the out. So in my case for this one, there's one venue in particular where I get a real ground loop problem, and so I run the XLR from the mixer into this, then out via another XLR into the sockets on the wall where I just plug into the house system, and that generally cuts out pretty much all of the earth loop problems that I've got, all the ground loop issues. All that hum just goes straight away, because this is basically, again, it's got transformers in the middle which cut the two earth, separate the two earths, and so you don't get that feedback loop, which is brilliant. This also, as a bonus, is all of these are wired in parallel, so basically you can run an XLR into it, and then you could run out to, say, an RCA phono connection, or if you've just got an unbalanced phono from your mixer, you can run that into that and feed out to an XLR, for example. It's not going to change the level of stuff, so you can't run it's not like a preamp, so you can't run a phono from a turntable into it and output to a line, but it will just let you do that, and you can actually run those 3 at once as well. So for example, I needed a setup. I had a setup last Monday with 2 DJs, 2 separate mixers, both wanted control of 1 set of monitors. So I just ran 1 set in via the XLRs and 1 mixer in via the XLRs, 1 mixer in via the RCA phonos. Both of those running out to the same XLR to this 1 pair of speakers. Both DJs could turn up the monitors. Fantastic. Just, it's a nice, great little bit of kit to have in your toolbox. I thoroughly recommend this one. If not, just as I say, get on Amazon or eBay and just get one of these generic cheap ones. They are a very useful things to have, especially in this digital age. You know, often when it's, one of the big problems is you're going a laptop, USB, and it's earthing via the USB and then into the sound system and the laptop. So often people will like take out their power supplies and just run off the battery on the laptop. Again, that's not something you want to do. So just get one of these. Either will do the job. There are other things out there. Behringer make them as well. There's all sorts out there. But to get hold of something like this, especially if you're going around different venues a lot, then this is really worth having. So there you go, ground loops. I hate them, but they can be fixed. So that's what we want to know ultimately. So thank you very much for watching. Lots more tips and walkthroughs. I've got some new equipment to look at soon in videos on my channel. So please do subscribe at Mojax VDJ on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.